Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. As always, we're sponsored by Health West. Great organization, great people. Give them a try. Google them where they're closest to you. Find out where they can help you and how they can help you. Go give them a chance. We're also sponsored by my companies, Commercial Cleaning Services, servicing from Burley all the way to Blackfoot, and Commercial Cleaning Services servicing from Idaho Falls over to the Rexburg area. Today, people, I wanted to talk about numbers. I know many of you, you're probably going to hear this and you want to switch off the podcast, but I'm telling you, if you're someone who's like, I hate looking at numbers, I hate looking at my books, this is specifically for you, because I used to be the same way. So let's get into it a little bit. It's not going to be a heavy one, so you're not going to have to pull out your calculators and pull out your pen and paper. But let's talk. Let's talk here. Who of you guys, obviously you guys can't answer me back, but used to watch the show The Profit on CNBC with Marcus Lemonis, founder and owner, I believe, of Camping World. Guy is tremendous. Love that dude. He always said the quote, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. I love that, because I was in that category before where I didn't know my business. I didn't know my numbers, and it was scary. If you really don't know where you stand, and you're just looking at, that's what I'm bringing in top line revenue. Cool. That's a scary place to be, ladies and gentlemen, because sales is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king, and that cash is reality. Okay. I'm telling you, even down to, looking at your books, even at a micro level at times. Say you have a bookkeeper, say she or he's doing a fantastic job. Cool. Awesome. Number one, are you looking at your P&L on a regular basis? Are you looking at your balance sheet on a regular basis? Do you know what things mean in your P&L or balance sheet? If you don't, sit down with your bookkeeper, sit down with your CPA, and go over everything line item by line item and say, hey, what is this category? Oh, well, and if you have a crazy CPA, it'll be like, well, that was CF 498, subcategory 4. Great. That means something to you. It does not mean something to me. So have them dumb it down like Michael in the office. Explain it to me like my 5-year-old. If you don't understand at that point, be like Michael in the office again and say, explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old. That's what I had to do, because these people are super smart. Some accountants, they can't put the person in the business. They take the person out of the business, and all they see is numbers. And that's great, because that's their profession. But you got to have someone who can put the person in the business and help them run the numbers, in a reasonable way that a robot's not looking at them. Okay. So if you look at your P&L, it should literally say, it should be divided up into different categories. If you don't have that, it's not a P&L at all. It's just pure chaos. Okay. So you should have revenue first, revenue / or income. And if you have multiple offerings, products or services, it should be in different categories. Say you're I don't know. You take one of my companies, for example. Say we're in the janitorial business. Okay. What's the revenue for janitorial services? Great. It's X. What's the revenue for maybe just carpet cleaning? Okay, that's XY. What's the revenue for hard floor maintenance, like we do strip and waxing, all this kind of stuff? That's another X. Okay. You don't need to separate your income out. Honestly, and this is just my opinion, if it's not more than 30,000 a year. If it's below that, just keep it in one. But as you start to grow those certain sectors, then start to separate them out so you can understand what income is coming in for those items. Likewise, after the incomes areas, you go into the cost of goods sold, also known as COGS. Okay. And you put down, okay, what is my cost of goods sold for janitorial services? And that's my labor. That is my supplies. That is my workers' comp. Okay. All that kind of stuff goes into my cost of goods sold. Same thing if I have separated out for my carpet cleaning or my hard floor maintenance is every separation of income, like any line item for income, should have a line item for cost of goods sold. And I'm sure some accountants and stuff out there are going to be like, that's insane. But you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for you so you can understand where your business is at. So don't listen to them at this point. P&L is for you to freaking know where you are at in your business at each month along the way. So have a line item. Okay, well, and I love to run my P&L with a percentage of income, on the sides. So I know I can see what percentages are there. Okay. If I know I'm running high, cost of goods sold for carpet cleaning, it means, oh man, I am doing either a bad job scheduling the carpet people. So they're using too much fuel between different space, between different jobs. They should be scheduled jobs more geographically close to each other and day by day. Or maybe I need to repair a piece of equipment that's costing them more time and labor. All that kind of stuff. So this is how you get a breakdown of like, okay, that's being profitable. Janitorial services, that's being profitable. Carpet cleaning services, not so profitable right now. And maybe you can understand why it's not so profitable. Maybe it's because you are training a new team. There's more training hours going on right now. That's fine. As long as you can explain why there's added costs and it's not making the money you want to make. Okay. Same thing goes for any other line items. They should have a cost of goods sold. Okay. And then the very bottom, it should say, total cost of goods sold of all those lines. And it should say X amount of dollars were spent. And then there should be a percentage next to it. I try to keep my cost of goods sold below 50%, 45 if possible. Then after that, it goes into your expenses category. I call it overhead. This is where you can take a samurai sword to and slice and dice. COGS, you really can't. You can be more efficient. You can make things more efficient. But your overhead, this is where you can slice and dice some things. That's where you see like your software, your professional services, professional development. Now, what's the difference between professional services and professional development? Professional development is, hey, I brought in a business coach to come help me. Cool. That's professional development. I brought in someone to teach me how to, do this certain skill with my business. I would call that professional development. Professional services I would call that your CPA, your accountants, any attorney fees, anything like that would be professional services. You'll see your, like I said, software. You'll see business insurance there. All that kind of stuff that you can do, and even the salaries of your managers. And the COGS, if I missed to say this, the COGS, only thing that goes into your COGS when it comes to labor is the labor that was necessary to do the job. Okay, so your manager that was just sitting in the office, taking care of things and managing different groups or whatever your business may be, if they're not actively a part of accomplishing that job, for carpet cleaning or something like that, they're not part of the labor that goes into that job. They're not part of the COGS. They're in the overhead of your business. Okay. So you put them in the overhead. So you'll see you can put it in as manager wages and that kind of stuff. If you have any benefits for these people, you can put that into the overhead. So that kind of stuff you see. And you'll see like if there's any company parties, barbecues, or anything like that, that's all in the overhead. Okay. So you have to watch your overhead because some people can get overspend at times, and their overhead can get really spendy, and that sucks all the profit out of your business. Okay. Or if you're not running your business effectively, or if you're not charging enough, that's another big one. But this is all from people not knowing their numbers. People don't know if they're not charging enough because they don't know their numbers. So if you know your numbers and you understand what you're looking at, then you'll realize, okay, either my people suck and they're not being effective or efficient while they work, or I'm just way underpriced. Okay. I would imagine you're mostly underpriced. Okay. There are jobs, I will admit, there are jobs that where I've seen my people that have just suck. They're inefficient and they spend 10 times more time than they should have. And it's a rate that I've already charged. Like, hey, this is how much it's going to be. And they spend a lot more time than was budgeted, but the job has to get done and it has to be done right. I'm not going to just leave a job and say, well, I'm not making any profit now. I can't do the job anymore. No, you don't do that. That's not how you build a profitable business, but you also learn from it so you can bid that job in a profitable manner the following times they come up. Okay. After expenses or overhead, you go into your profit. Okay. This is the sexy area. This is the area that you should care most about. Okay. I'm telling you right now, top line revenue is vanity. Your cash and your net profit is your sanity. That is huge. Because before I knew my numbers, I was always, beating on my chest. Well, I do this much in revenue. Who gives a flying crap? I don't care if you're doing 10 million a year in revenue to 100 million a year in revenue. If you don't know your numbers and you're only bringing home 1% profit because you're running your business in such a crappy manner, oh my gosh, I'd much rather have a 600,000 a year revenue business and making 25 to 30% than having that nightmare of a business of $10 million of revenue making 1%. Okay. It's sexy to have a profitable NOI. Okay. It is depressing to not know your numbers and to see that you are not making money. This is where people who don't know their numbers, they think, oh, I just got to get in more business. I need to roof more roofs. I need to get more janitorial jobs in the boat here. But they don't realize if your boat has a hole in it and you're taking on water, by taking on more and more jobs when you don't know your numbers and taking on more and more jobs that aren't profitable, it's like drilling more and more holes in your boat. So your boat is just sinking faster and faster. You're not helping yourself. You're sinking yourself. So fix the freaking holes, people. I see too many companies out there that don't know their numbers and they start up real quick and then they bug out real quick because they think, oh, that's I can do that. I can roof. I can do restoration work. I can suck water. I can remodel a home. I can build a fence. I can do that. That's not hard. I saw my boss do that once. It's not hard to do. But then they go do it because they, as a tradesman or as that professional in that world, they think, oh, I know how to do it. I'll be really good at this business. But they have no idea when it comes to actual numbers behind it that makes those companies successful. So make yourself successful and go through your numbers. So if you're going through your P&L, make your bookkeeper, your CPA sit right next to you and say, what does this category RFD Q97 mean? Okay, that's office supplies. Cool. That's in my expense category. That's already in expenses. So cool. Let's relabel it from RFQ97, whatever, to office supplies. Okay. and whatever, and so on and so on. Make it crystal clear so you know what you're looking at. And then when it's crystal clear and you know what you're looking at, run it month by month. Don't do year to date and check it. Like if you're, yeah, just let's not go too deep into things. But so we're in March right now. I'm looking now. I'm running my P&L for February because it's reconciled, and that's another thing too. You have to, at the end of the month, you have to give your bookkeeper enough time to reconcile. So 4 to 5 days is enough time for them if you've answered all their questions and you've helped them categorize everything correct. That's just enough time to get things right for you to look at your books, and then you get a look and see, okay, well, at the end of the month, cool, I made about 20% profit. Cool. That's all I look at. I look at percentages, guys. If I look at my numbers real quick and I see a certain percentage points on each category, that's all I'm looking for. It's great to see, numbers, cool. But if it's not hitting certain percentage points, then I know something's wrong, or I need to explain something to myself or remind myself, oh, that was because of this. I had to spend extra money on this repair last month. That was unexpected. So if you can remember that kind of stuff, it helps. So know your numbers, people. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business, as Marcus Lemonis says. So keep yourself involved. Get your books out. I know you're going to hate it at first, but once you do it, it is so calming every month to be able to look at your numbers the previous month and be like, okay, I'm doing good. I'm making money. The boat has no more holes in it. There's debts. If there is debts, you can pay them off because you're actually making money. Holy smokes, that's a novelty idea. And if there's no debts, cool. Build yourself a reserve. When we're looking at buying companies, we want to see at least 10% of what they're, excuse me. Let's scratch that. I'll make it easier than that. At least they want to see what you bill out in a month in your cash reserves. Okay. Let's use that as a simple example. If you don't have a cash reserve of what you're at least billing out on an average month, and you find that out just by going to your last year's P&L and say, okay, run the year to date, and then taking that full revenue number divided by 12 and be like, okay, that's how much I should have stocked away. That's huge. So get yourself a little war chest stocked away so you're not constantly have to dip into different funds and charge yourself interest. That's important. Okay? I hope you guys got something out of it today. I'm telling you this because I have been hit over the head with a tack hammer by people that are smarter than me and by myself over the years because I didn't know this. But I'll tell you right now, over the past 9 years, I've really have known this. And I am a freaking ninja when it comes to looking at my books. And that's the way you can quickly spot, oh, am I starting to have a crack in my boat? Is it going to turn into a hole? What's going on here? And then you can quickly fix it and get on with it and keep making money. Okay? Be happy, be grateful, and go find opportunities to serve others. Adios.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.